who made a donation to Albany Law School, to our law school. And I have to tell you, your gifts have made and they continue to make a difference every day for our school and for our students. Above all, your gifts help our students, and that's what we're all about, right? That's what we're here for, to provide students the opportunities that we had when we were students, or that your loved one had when your loved one was a student. We are so lucky to have in the building, in our student body, just amazingly talented people. Our students are incredibly bright, and they have incredibly bright futures. These people who are going to go off and be leaders in the world would not be able to attend law school without your support and the support of many of you on the call, because many of you contributed to scholarships. This is the time of year when we all start to get notes and letters out to our donors from our students. And I've had the chance to read some of these, and I expect that some of you have received letters from your students who have benefited from your generosity. The students talk about how their scholarship is the thing that allowed them to access a law degree at Albany Law School. The faith that you have showed in them and in us as a community is simply amazing. Others have told me, other students have told me about how their scholarship has opened doors in other ways. We have students who, because they have less financial strain, they have to take out less debt, they're able to explore careers in fields of law that may be less lucrative, but to them much more rewarding. It changes lives, what you do when you write that check. It really makes a big difference. Because of your generosity, our donors are paying it forward. Albany Law School students are reaching for and taking hold of their dreams, and that's so important. And through that support, we're a stronger law school. Caitlin laid out some of the things that I think we all feel proud of, you know, bar pass, job placement, student satisfaction, all of those things. And as you have likely heard and seen, we've just completed the most ambitious fundraising effort in Albany Law School's history. We Rise Together, the campaign for Albany Law School, successfully raised $33 million for our law school, $33 million, and you helped us do it. I'm proud to say that we've grown our annual fund, which is the money that we're able to spend on an annual basis, raising over $1.9 million last year. It's nearly double what we raised prior to campaign. These gifts have funded 10 new endowed programs and scholarships, a student wellness program, our clinical programs, a women's leadership initiative, and a fund to support innovation and entrepreneurship. Thanks to all of you on this call and all of us, we rose together. So on behalf of all of us at Albany Law School, I thank you, sincerely thank you. Now I'd like to show you a brief video that illustrates some of what we have accomplished. This campaign was for the future of the law school. Having a campaign to support the endowment allowed us to really embrace our identity and to say we are going to be the most successful independent law school in this country. We're coming out of a pandemic and we're going to be okay. And I don't know that that would have been true if our donors hadn't stepped up in the way that they did.
Independence, innovation, and impact were not just 3 words. They were things that really symbolized what we hope to accomplish during the campaign.
Independence is kind of who we are. We are one of the few remaining independent law schools in the country, and we're proud of it.
The ability to be independent and to remain independent as a law school allows us to pivot and to be agile and to meet student needs and to meet community needs.
I think that the future of the law school is not only dependent on the incoming students that come next fall or years after, but it's also highly dependent on the students that are here today, as well as the alumni, faculty, staff, and other benefactors that have been here.
The success of our We Rise Together campaign underscores the power and impact of our time-honored law school throughout the region.
And when you look at the law school today, it's a regionally renowned law school and it's got a national reputation. So to be part of this community, which is small and close-knit, I'm very proud of it.
It's an impact in the world, impact on our students to go out in the world and change it. And it's also the impact of our clinics and our Justice Center, which focuses on helping the community and particularly helping people who are underrepresented in the legal system.
Innovation goes hand in hand with change. Technology, the types of classes we're teaching, the types of clinics that are important.
Every organization changes. Those who are, willing to create or embrace change, and some change is forced onto it, and you are much better off being an organization that creates change.
People are going to just be more creative and stretching the boundaries of what we've previously thought, the law encompasses, or what you can do with a law degree.
We asked our donors and our supporters to step up and support our students.
The main goals of the campaign was to secure money so that we could support scholarships for students. We want to be sure that every student who is qualified to attend Albany Law School can do so.
I could not believe the enthusiasm and just the goodwill that came out and the kindness that our donors showed to support Albany Law School in our time of great need. Nowhere was that more apparent than the Helen Wilkinson Student Emergency Fund.
As a direct result of campaign gifts, started a women's leadership initiative, and it is a tremendous program that's bringing together women leaders and those who support women leaders with the leaders of tomorrow. Incredible programming, mentoring networks. There's going to be a fellowship program involved for new students. We have a very robust and very necessary wellness program, and that's happening now immediately as a result of campaign.
And what I would say to the donors is that they are consequential. Their gifts are very consequential, most importantly to our students.
I feel that I am part of a community that wants me to be a change maker. I'm part of a community that sees the best in me.
Right, so come watch us, whether you zoom in to come watch us or whether you physically come to watch us, come see where your contributions have gone.
There really is no limit to the impact that Albany Law students can have in this community thanks to the generosity of our alumni donors and the community at large.
And our students, our staff, and our faculty truly appreciate the outpouring of support. And so all we can say is thank you.
When we named the campaign We Rise Together, we had no idea how much we would need each other to rise to this challenge. And you did it, and you were there, and the Albany Law School, the students, the faculty, the staff, the alumni, we will always be grateful.
Thank you all. Hopefully for those of you who have been receiving our email communications about all of the impact that your gifts are having, hopefully that video gave you a little more insight maybe into specifically what your gifts have supported and the focus areas that we had for the campaign. It is now my pleasure to share a little bit more of firsthand experience, someone who has benefited from all of our community's generosity and has chosen to pay it forward. Sarah Dixon Morgan, class of 2022, Colby Fellow for the Wellness Initiative, participant in the Justice Center Immigration Law Clinic, and recipient of the Richard C. Johnson 51 Scholarship will be sharing with us a little bit about what being a part of the Albany Law School community has been for her as a current student.
Thank you so much, Caitlin. Thank you, Dean Ouellette. I'm so happy to be here today just to talk a little bit about the amazing experiences that I've been able to have as a student at Albany Law School. So as was mentioned, I am honored to be a part of the Wellness Initiative as a Colby Fellow, where I am able to lead students in focusing on their well-being in all aspects of that word and helping students take care of themselves in an incredibly difficult 3 years of our lives. I'm also the managing editor for research and writing on the Government Law Review, where I help students research and write their journal notes and hopefully get them published. And as Caitlin mentioned, I've been involved in the Immigration Law Clinic. I've been a legal teaching fellow with a nonprofit in New York City. I worked for a judge this past summer in Maryland State Court. This semester, I worked for the Albany County Public Defender. And in the spring, I'll be doing a semester in practice with SUNY Research Foundation in their compliance department. So truly all of these experiences have been, I believe, because of Albany Law School and because of the support that I have had from faculty and staff, Dean Ouellette, everybody at the school, and the financial support through my scholarship. It's all owed to you all and to the school. And I'm so grateful for every opportunity that I've been afforded because of your generosity. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Sarah, for sharing that. It sounds like you are staying quite busy, that is very sure. So for all of you, you have heard today that your gifts matter. They are enabling possibilities and increasing the impact of the law school, not just here on campus, but the impact that we're able to have in our local community. Every one of you has played, and we hope will continue to play, a role in the success of Albany Law School. There are several individuals with us here today who have stepped up in large and inspiring ways, or are celebrating large milestones in giving that we would like to recognize. With us today, we have first-time Barrister Society member, Bill Collins, class of '85. Our loyal donors, there are many of you here today, those who have given for multiple years. You may have seen your name scrolling on the screen at the start of the event. So many of you have continued to show loyal support for the law school. I am going to take a moment and read out the names of those who are with us today, who are celebrating milestones of more than 5 years of giving to the law school. At 6 years of support, joining with us, we have Adrian and Jane Metz, both from the class of 1978. Celebrating 9 years, Georgia Nucci, class of 1996. Dana Salazar, class of 2005, is celebrating 12 years. At 13 years of giving to the law school, David Rosen, class of 2010. At 14 years, Amanda Dreyer, class of 2006. And Corey Kestner, class of 2008. Celebrating 16 years, Hina Campagna, class of 2004, and the Honorable Christine Reba, class of 2001. Celebrating 17 years of support to Albany Law School, Tanya Fernandez, class of 1985, and Deb Trays, class of 1977. Celebrating 18 years, the Honorable Peter Crummy, class of 1981. Bill Poulos, class of 1980. And the Honorable Ralph Smith, class of 1966. Celebrating 19 years with us today, we congratulate Professor Melissa Brieger and Paul Seeloff, class of 1984. Celebrating 20 years, Frederick Bodner, class of 1975. At 22 years, the Honorable Robert Best, class of 1954. Celebrating 23 years, Professor Mary Berry, class of 1994. And Diane Phillips, class of 1988. Celebrating 24 years, Paula Baker, class of 1983. Celebrating a milestone of 25 years of giving to Albany Law School, Professor Lori Shanks. Celebrating 26 years, Professor Vincent Bonventry. Martin Burke, class of 1966. Dan Grossman, class of 1978. And James Sandman received an honorary degree in the class of 2020. Celebrating 27 years, the Honorable Irid Ingraham, class of 1960. Terrence Kindlin, class of 1973. And Joseph Reynolds, class of 1976, and Molly Reynolds. Celebrating 28 years, Edward Watkins, class of 1977. 29 years, Catherine Hannon Wares, class of 1978. Celebrating 30 years, Richard Eisenstadt, class of 1974. Celebrating 31 years of philanthropy to Albany Law School, Mary Devine, class of 1980. William Harris, class of 1972. And Harvey Randall, class of 1969. All of these totals are impressive, but as I keep listing them off, please, to all of you folks, thank you so much. Class of 1958, Matt Matarazzo is celebrating 32 years. Celebrating 33 years, Professor Ira Bloom. Robert Conway Jr., class of 1976. Dan Nolan, class of 1978. Dale Tulez, class of 1972. And Richard Wittenberg, class of 1966. For 34 years of support to the law school, we recognize Paul Keitzman, class of 1972. Peter Koff, class of 1975. Larry Schiffer, class of 1979. And the Honorable Leonard Wise, class of 1948. And with an impressive 35 years of giving to Albany Law School, we recognized two donors, E. Stuart Jones Jr., class of 1966, and the Honorable Leslie Stein, class of 1981. All of your loyal support is so inspiring to see, and it's certainly appreciated. We already know that all of you will renew your support this year. Those of you with those impressive totals don't want to stop now, but I will just say that this concludes our formal program for today. Thank you so much to all of you for being here, taking the time with us this afternoon. We are encouraging you to stay on and chat for a bit. In addition to Sarah being with us today, we have a few other current students with us. They're happy to share their experiences about what campus is like these days. I'm sure quite different from many of all of you. But those students are Jordan Conway and Cameron Bishop. Feel free to direct any questions their way, but we encourage you to stay on, take a few moments. Thank you again for making the time to celebrate you with us and the impact that your gifts have. Thank you so much. You are all free to unmute yourself.
Does anyone have questions for our students or just about the school? Deb. Oh, you gotta unmute, Deb.
It's a different system. I apologize. I just wanted to ask the students, how are exams going?
Jordan, you want to weigh in?
Sure. I just finished my last one today, and I think it went well. I think the hardest thing about law school is you walk out of, I've never walked out of an exam or anything in my life where I felt like I don't know if I did well, but I think that's a good thing because it seems, as Dina, I saw her after my exam, she said that's how you know that you've recognized the complexity of the questions you're being asked. So hopefully well. Thank you for asking.
Sure. Well, good luck.
Sarah, how are yours going?
I finished my last one yesterday, and I'm happy to say that I think that's my last law school final ever because I'm doing a semester in practice in the spring. So I think I'm done with tests, fingers crossed, hopefully forever.
So this semester
Until the
practice,
bar, but
semester in practice is what it sounds like. For we've got some folks who haven't been with us. It's a way to learn law by doing law. And so Sarah, you already said you're going to be working at the SUNY Research Foundation. She'll be doing that full time. There's a class that goes along with it, and a faculty member, Ray Brescia, who will be supervising and making sure she's learning what she needs to learn. But in the old days, they used to say at law school, the first year they scare you to death, the second year they work you to death, and the third year they bore you to death. We don't bore our third year students anymore. Our third year students are all learning to practice law by doing law in one way or another, and it's really incredible the work that they do. Any other questions, or anyone see any old friends?
It's Bill. I have a question about the doing law practice. I mean, what are the array of options? I don't know who this would be directed to, maybe you, Dean, or one of the students. What are the array of options that the students have in the doing law programs?
Sure. So I'll kind of give the high level overview, and then if we can go to the students and they can weigh in on what they've done or what they hope to do, because so we've got first, second, and third year student. So we have our in-house clinics, so we have law firms right in the building as part of the law school. So faculty members serve clients and students serve clients. They're admitted to the limited practice of law as law students and have actual clients and go to court and do transactional work. So there's different kinds of clinics. There's clinics that serve small businesses, that serve immigrants. There's a health law clinic that serves cancer patients and people who are in hospice care. There is a family violence clinic, and there are others, the immigration law clinic. We also have lots of field placements, so where students earn academic credit by being placed out in a state agency or in an organization or with a law firm doing work that way. We have something that's called the Pro Bono Scholars Program, which is a really great program where students take the bar exam in their penultimate, after their 5th semester of law school, and then actually finish law school in a full-time placement, a pro bono placement. Often we have a number of students that do that. They often are in public defenders' offices or in various agencies, so doing important public service work. Those students, I have to tell you, because they've all passed the bar in February, are the very happiest ones at commencement. They kind of skip across the stage. The rest of them are get a weekend off before commencement. And then there's the semester in practice program, which we already talked about. So that's a full semester that students can do. So students, can you jump on and tell us what you've done or what you hope to do in terms of learning by doing? Just jump.
I'll jump. I'm a 1L, so I haven't had the opportunity to get involved in too much yet, but I was accepted to be a fellow for the Women's Leadership Initiative, which I know is a new thing as part of the campaign, and I'm very excited about it. I'm really interested in going into local government and supporting representation in local government at the lowest grassroots level. So I was really excited that Albany Law is offering this program for women to grow in leadership roles and have those experiences. So that's what I'll put in so far.
Great. Sarah?
Yes, so I am doing I did the legal immigration law clinic, and that was in the spring. And I did a field placement this semester with Albany County Public Defender, and then I'm doing the semester in practice in the spring. So my goal was to get some more transactional with the compliance experience in the spring, and I wanted to be in a courtroom, and the opportunities really allowed me to do both. So I've been able to see both sides of two sides of the law and get to experience working environments in a lot of different places.
Great. Caitlin, is there a third student on?
Yes, I believe Cameron is with us.
Cameron, are you here?
Cameron, thank you so much.
I'm right here.
Hi, there you are.
Hi.
In your car.
Yeah, I actually just finished my last final, so I'm sitting in my car. Yeah, kind of echoing the previous sentiments. I kind of want to do the same things, and I also want to jump into more of probably the governmental sector. I really am interested in the government and public practice. So ADA's office, public defender's office. So those are kind of my hopes of placement. I'm also a 1L, so I'm thinking way ahead, but that's kind of where my goals and heads are set at.
Very nice.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, Bill. Any other questions, comments?
I think there was a question in the chat coming from Diane Phillips.
Okay, let's see. Is there a first year student who can speak to the 1L elective class rolled out this year? I'd love to hear your thoughts. So we've got two, Cameron or Jordan. Do either one of you want to talk about your class? Jordan had a really good class. She was in mine.
Yeah, I was in Dean Ouellette's class, which is Law and Justice, which I chose because first of all, it's really cool to be able to take class with the dean because I feel like that's a rare opportunity. And second of all, coming into law school, you read all these books about like exam strategy and just law school strategy and all those things, and you realize none of them truly help. But the one thing that kind of stuck with me was this aspect of justice in the law, and that really pulled me in. And the seminar was really cool because we got to really explore issues that you don't get to explore as a 1L. And I loved walking out of that class and being able to say, oh my God, we talked about COVID justice, and we talked about environmental justice and health justice, and come out of law school and people be like, oh, what are you learning in law school? And instead of just saying like, oh, Civ Pro and contracts and things that people are like, I don't want to hear about that, I could kind of talk a little bit to the justice and law aspects of the things we were learning in that seminar class. So it sucks you into law school is what that seminar does. It's great. So thanks for offering it.
Yeah, and part of what was fun in our classes, we had students very different political perspectives and philosophical takes on all of these things, and the students really were able to have some of the hard conversations that we need to have as a nation in law school. I was really proud of them. Cameron, how was your first year seminar?
Oh, I loved it. I was in intergenerational equity with Professor Harrington, who's absolutely fabulous. So we focused on looking at justice in a sense of equity that goes beyond just the current generations that there are, so future generations. And I really appreciated how we're thinking about how the law can impact not just our generation, but what we're leaving behind for our kids and our grandkids. And we want to leave them a better place than we have it at right now. So we really want to focus on looking towards not just the present, which a lot of times we do in common day, just look at what's going on today, but we want to look at what's going on in the future and what we're leaving behind. And so I'm actually, after I just finished my last final today, my contracts final, starting now and working until December 20th, I'm working on a 5-page statute that everyone in the class is writing for a proposal to help with intergenerational equity. And we're just putting together a 5-page statute, and it can be anything. So mine's focusing on a plastic straw ban in New York, kind of similar, it's going to mirror the plastic bag ban that we currently have. So I'm going to kind of mirror that and focus on how straws are not as biodegradable and they're leaving behind, frankly, a mess. So I'm really trying to focus on that in my statute. But other than that, I think just the whole class and the whole experience has been absolutely fantastic.
So this is a first year, it's a new thing that we're doing. Students get to select from a course of menus, a menu of courses, and there's access to justice class. There's a class on lawyering competencies. So there's a whole range. And what we find is our students come in and they really want to talk about issues in addition to dealing with that little red fox in the Pearson versus Post case and all that we traditionally do. And so this is a little bit of an experiment, but as you're hearing from our two representatives, who I had no idea what they would say when asked the question, so they were not planted at all. I think that what we're hearing is that we're onto something in terms of building a community where we can talk about issues of the day and really make law school very meaningful. Our students want to change the world in one way or another, and we want to give them tools to be able to do that. All right, if we have any, do we have any other questions, comments? It's really nice to see you. I wish we were not on Zoom. I would love to have one-on-one conversations with each and every one of you. I hope very much that I'll be able to travel and come out and see you. And Georgia, I got to come see you in Mexico. Renee, you're muted. You're muted. I don't know if we can unmute Georgia. No. I don't know who's the host.
Probably said, come down anytime. Ah, here she is.
Oh, here she is.
No, I'm legally blind, so I have a little difficulty with these things. But I want to thank the law school for taking me in when I was in my 50s. I still practice law. I have a lot of electronics that help me to see. I do immigration law. I do work at the border. I consult with Doctors Without Borders on these issues that we're experiencing at our northern border and at our southern border. And I have to say that by accepting an older student, you are accepting students who have a lot of life experience. I came to law school with experience in international law, terrorism, family law, estates and trusts, real estate law, you name it. And it was very helpful to me. As a matter of fact, some of the younger male students glommed on to me because they knew I even read the footnote cases. So don't overlook your older students, please. We have a lot to offer.
We do. We love our owls, our older, wiser law students. I was one when I went to law school as well. I do think we bring a different perspective. And we've got Army veterans, we've got former police officers, we've got people who are social workers, former professors, and it really does make for a rich, interesting conversation. And then we've got a lot of students who come straight out of undergrad, and you see people working side by side. And it's a great thing to see.
I will just call on maybe our other international guests, the Metz family, if you're willing to say a few words. We are so
hello
glad
in
that
London. I
you're
hadn't
with us.
seen you there.
Yeah, we're here.
Adrian's my spokesman.
I hope not. Well, we're trying to stay away from Omicron at the moment, but would be pleased to come to New York. And it's great to see the video and look at some of the places we haven't seen in a while, but would look forward to doing so again at some point.
We would love to have you. And you mentioned the pandemic. I'll just say our school has done a really tremendous job. I mean, you do see students in masks. We are masked up inside as we have to be. We've got 800 people in a small space. But this semester, we have we've stayed open every day. We have not had to close. We've been incredibly successful. I think we got one more day of exams. So I don't want to curse us yet, but so far an A grade, a solid A in pandemic. And it's not been easy on anyone, but just tremendous desire to be together and to be a community in person. So I'm very proud of our whole community around that. And I do hope, I hope that all of you, whether from London or I see Boston, I see Texas, I see lots of folks from around the country. I hope you're able to come back. I hope we can have the best reunion we've ever had in the fall, the biggest, best. Everyone should come, whether it's your year or not. Let's just celebrate together and be back together.
It's time to get out of the house, that's for sure.
Absolutely.
Well, Dean, the Board of Trustees gathered in Albany last week, and the Dean puts her action where her mouth is. She actually was both our Dean and our public health administrator. Everyone from the board pre-tested for COVID so that we could gather in kind of safety and community. So I think we should be really proud of the way that the law school has dealt with COVID. We had incredible success. So knock on wood, but and thanks to the Dean and everyone at the law school for allowing our students to enjoy an in-classroom experience, which we know has not been true at at many higher ed institutions, and it's a real gift. So thanks to all.
Thank you. And for those who don't know, Deb Trace is the chair of the board. She's our fearless leader and absolutely wonderful contributor in so many levels to the law school, and a really good teammate for me. And the board members couldn't be better. It is all about this place that we love. All right, and with that, it seems like we're winding up. So why don't we say happy holidays and thank you, and keep coming back. Thanks for everything.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Happy holidays, everyone.
Bye. Happy holidays.